Why be easy when you can just die? Woo! I'm Chewy Mew, and welcome to my channel, but more specifically, welcome to another Chewy Mew video. Right now we're going to be taking a look at Silver Armor Spider-Man. No, didn't mean to do that. Nope, we don't need a turnip exposure. Okay, there we go. Alright, yeah, so here's the custom here. So this was made using the Jumper, Flippy, Acrobat, Spider-Man, whatever the name of that guy is, which was this guy that I already reviewed, and then this was my first custom here. And you can see the custom doesn't look really too much like the source material, which is here. And so I decided, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to make a complete overhaul of that custom, where on these ribs you can see, his ribs are like very crazy wide sticking out, so I decided to cut off the plastic. And then what I did here to fix it was I just took a bunch of my clay and then I kind of just smeared it on here, kind of sticking it up to make it fit better. Also, the spider on the costume isn't 3D, but I decided, you know what, screw it, I'm going to make it 3D. This was actually a spider for another figure, which I decided, you know what, that doesn't look much like the spider for it, so I decided to give it to him. And I think it fits on pretty good. The spider on the front, honestly, I'm going to be honest, I got kind of lazy when I got to the front spider. But still looks pretty good. In the camera, it looks weird because the lighting makes it look very, like, glossy. But in real life, it doesn't look as weird. But it's kind of sloppy because I was going to do it in, like, a 3D sticking out. But I decided, you know what, screw it. And then I just, like, painted on very thick there. And then everything else you can see on the body is 3D sculpted. So this guy, you can see none of it's, like, actually sticking out here. But I decided and went back and made the thing. The eyes, yeah, the eyes look a little bit kind of weird. I'm terrible at making eyes, I guess. Like, on my custom Fearsome Foes, the eyes look kind of weird. Pretty much when I paint anything that has to do with eyeballs, looks horrible. So, the eyes, just don't look at the eyes and it's perfect. So I painted the neck black here. I made these little, like, shoulder pad looking things that are on his arms there. And I sculpted him in such a way that when he his arms don't go up all the way anyway, though, so it's kind of fine. But when they go up, that's as far as the arms can go up anyway. So I put the clay here to go up as high as it possibly can go. Like, you know, because the arms don't go up all the way up. And so I put the clay there right as the farthest they can go up. That way it doesn't, like, you know, cut off articulation like if I put it here. It doesn't really hinder any articulation. All the articulation on this guy works the same. The only issues with this figure is not my custom, but it's that this figure originally doesn't have, like, you know, double jointed elbows and knees, which I'm kind of okay with. I put a bunch of clay on here too. I kind of tried making a webbing, but some spots of clay, when you make the texturing, it just kind of goes back to normal. But it did come out great on these boots. Like, it looks not exactly, but looks very close to the texture on his boots here. You can see if I move this, the paint, I tried painting this black and it didn't work out too good for me. On the back, I painted that silver to make it blend in here. Because the lighting and stuff, what if I turn on my flash? No, that makes it look even worse. No, never mind. Leave my flash off. Yeah, because the lighting in here makes it look kind of funky. But how about that? No, that's going to be fine. I'm just going to leave it how it is. And so then the underwear, Superman underwear part here is also sculpted on clay. I tried sculpting it on the rest, paint chips off there as it always does. Painted it all in the back. Did get a little messy in the part we get right here, but I had to have that little chunk missing because when you move it, the below the belt area, waist, pelvic area, whatever you want to call this, when you twist it, it kind of rubs against the plastic, so I had to have that little chunk right there missing, that way it rotates. And everywhere it kind of rotates smoothly. If I can't rotate it all the way this way because then the glue dots, which are inside the torso because they're really loose, I can't rotate it all the way or else the glue dots will get stuck and then they slowly move the figure back. So I couldn't put glue dots there, and see, it got kind of stuck right there. But yeah, so, oops. The head, of course, is also completely covered with webbing, or with clay there. The sculpt on the front, the web pattern looks good, but on the sides it looks a little bit messy. Some spots, when you make the indents into clay, sometimes it just doesn't stick in as good. The way I made the web indents, I can find my tool, was I just took this tool, and I pretty much just took the tool and kind of just went from line to line, just kind of going line to line. I think the torso part came out the best, where all of this is clay as well. It doesn't stick out as far as I'd like it to. That's because the torso kind of sticks out far, and I thought, oh, the clay's gonna, you know, stick out kind of far. But once I put the clay in here to patch the holes in his ribs and stuff, which also I took the clay off of the ribs so his arms can go, like, a lot farther down. And I kind of think it's okay they don't go all the way down. That articulation's also a little bit meh because I guess canonically, you know, it's very like a big bulky kind of suit, so I don't imagine his articulation, you know, he wouldn't be as, you know, crazy flexible. You know, like Iron Man's costume, of course, hinders some of his movement, you know? And then so all this is painted clay, and it's kind of squishy. It's like, it's not super like stone kind of hard, you know? Like a lot of clay is like really tough. This is a little bit bendable, so like when I move this up, it kind of, you see how the clay is kind of like looks like it's kind of like pushed down right here. Same thing on this shoulder. That's because the clay kind of has some give to it. You know, that's why I was able to make these lines. I was actually able to make these lines on the figure before it was even completely dry, you know. And then the spider too was also made out of the same clay. It looks a little bit textury and bumpy here, because sometimes painting clay, paint gets a little bit globby. You can see all the rest of the texture there. I think this looks very good. I think this custom is like so much better than the original one. The original one was just basically painting all of it gray, putting some glue dots on his shoulders and glue dots on the shoulders. That's pretty much all I did, and I just painted it silver. But I think this custom looks significantly better here. I think this is a very good looking custom. I think the only thing I could improve is maybe making the eyes not look so weird. But the eyes just, I don't know. I just don't know how to make eyes, I guess. Because everything else on this guy looks pretty good. Just the eyes right here just look a little bit funky there. But yeah, so I think this custom looks pretty cool. It doesn't hinder any articulation with all the armor. Like, if you have it from a distance, it looks, you know, it looks exactly like what it's supposed to look like. I know this is also based off of, you know, a comic book design. And also there's one in the 90s cartoon. But I kind of took some artistic liberties and I kind of just made this. Also, I really wanted to make this custom too, which is why I even bought this figure on eBay. The figure was really cheap. It was like 10 bucks on eBay. Maybe cheaper, I don't remember. But it was really cheap on eBay, so I decided, you know, I'm going to buy this and make a custom. And I thought the body kind of worked good with how big the hands are, because they look very comic hands. Also, I painted the inside of the hands black because the inside of the hands on that figure are kind of black too. It also did have this gimmick, so his articulation kind of sucked. Because he had this gimmick where you stick a web into his hand. So his arm was locked like this, where you press a button and he shoots a web out, and it rotated around like this. Which it was very, like a hatchety kind of joint. Which I owned it as a kid, and I thought it looked cool because it was like a metallic armor. It was, you know, kind of like Iron Spider before Iron Spider was a thing. And then, you know, so I just thought this body would look really good for it. And I think it looks so much better without having the crazy, huge, wide shoulders and, like, the Deadpool eyes that it had. It looked pretty cool, but, you know, I think this custom, I think it looks really nice, you know. A very cool metallic color. And the way I was able to paint this on with you know, my silver paint, I guess it's like, maybe silver paint just sucks or something. But when I paint a figure with silver paint, silver paint just doesn't stick, so I have to use a Sharpie paint marker. And painting an entire figure like this, Sharpie paint marker. Pro tip, painting clay with a Sharpie paint marker, it doesn't work. So don't use that, because it's just horrible, so don't do it. So I used paint, and painting it on, when I paint it on, it just looks so watery. It looks so see-through. So I painted the entire figure, painted it all white. Well, not all white. I painted all the silver parts white. I painted all the silver parts white. I didn't paint the black until I was done with silver. I painted all of it white. Then I waited for it to dry. Then I painted it like a darker gray compared to the white, like a little bit darker than the white. Then I painted it silver, and that way it kind of gives it like a sort of like metallic-y silver color, which silver is metallic. So, but yeah, looks pretty good there. My only issue with this guy is that the eyes could look a lot better. And that's about it. The spider looks kind of good too there. A little bit squishy. I like this clay, how it's kind of squishy. Which, shout out to clay. Where is it? I'm trying to see if I can find my clay. Which, here's this bag of clay. I put it inside this bag, because the original bag it comes with doesn't air seal. With this one, the air kind of comes in here, which that kind of... Oh, crap. Really? Okay. Okay, but yeah, it's not completely airtight, but it's this clay where, actually, this bag is where this guy came in. This guy actually came in this bag, I think. And then the clay's like a super squishy. It's actually used for like flowers and stuff to make like decorations. It's not meant to be, you know, for like action figure customs. Whoa. This camera's just getting wrecked today. Because, like, behind the scenes, when I was, like, doing stuff like this, I kept just pounding my camera. But, But yeah, so I use that clay, and this clay is like flexible. You can like bend it around like crazy. Other clays are kind of like, you know, like a hard piece of plastic. And this clay, I would try getting epoxy sculpt, which that's like the one that's like the definitive clay to use for customs. But I can't find it anywhere, and I'm just like, you know what? Other clay works good, so I'll just stick with that. And yeah, so that's gonna be all for this custom. Let me know what you think about this guy. I think this is one of my better customs. I have like maybe 10, 15 customs around that amount. And I think this one's a pretty good looking one. Pretty much every time I make a new custom, I think it's like the best one. But I still do think this is probably like my best custom. Either that guy or maybe my Spider-Man 3 custom Spider-Man 3 figure here. I think that custom looks pretty sick too, but I think this is another good one, another one of the greats. Eventually in the future, I'll make a video where I show off all of my customs. And yeah, that's going to be pretty sick. So yeah, that's enough for this video. I will see you guys in the next video. Wow.